Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, May 14th, 2023. The board will now convene to close session.
Yeah, yeah, so our recommendation is that this is what they told me. Yeah, oh, absolutely. I was saying. So nervous. Hey. No, we're losing a long time. Someday for life. Okay. You know, like celebration. There is, but I'm told many pieces. I need to just. I'll be out. Lunch. Which is. I think you just put it in your car.
The board will now convene open session and report out the closed session live streaming on YouTube. Will begin now for open session of the Board of Education meeting. The URL for the YouTube live streaming may be found on the AMSHS Board of Education webpage. If you're joining us via Zoom webinar and you'd like to provide public comment for the meeting, you may do so by utilizing the raise your hand option in Zoom, or if you're calling in by phone, that's *9 and will be called upon. Meeting members may still provide public comments to the board prior to each meeting via email at publiccomment@nhusd.k12.ca.us. There were no comments provided to the board for tonight's meeting via the public comment email address. I would like to remind the public that we will not be responding to questions posed by those making public comments. As with regards to closed session items, the board took no action in closed session. I will now hand off to the Vice President Kumar, who will preside over agenda item 5.
Thank you, President Nishihiro. Will the audience please rise and join me with the allegiance? United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a roll call, please. Here. 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 Here.
Here.
May I have a motion and second to approve tonight's agenda? So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to amend the motion to remove items 12.6 and 12.7. And also, we should probably figure out who's going to be reading the resolution on 12.1, which is recognition of student members, and 12.2, as well as the resolutions for the private. Do we have any volunteers to read those resolutions? Yes, trustee. Okay. Okay, all right.
I would like to recognize trustee Goodman.
Okay. And you'll do trustee Connor? Okay. Great. All right.
Can I have a volunteer to read out the land acknowledgement, please?
Actually, now we're gonna
Roll call, please.
Ruben,
Here.
Don,
Aye.
Mallory,
Aye.
Buffet,
Aye.
Gonzalez. Aye. Kumar.
Aye.
And Shakira. Aye.
Can I have a volunteer to read out the land acknowledgement, please?
We want to open this meeting by acknowledging with respect and love that the land we are on today is the traditional ancestral homeland of the Ohlone Chochenyo First People. We recognize and thank the Ohlone people as the original stewards of this land. Indigenous people must not be spoken about in past contexts as if they left their own accord when the real causes were white supremacy, manifest destiny, and U.S. colonization. By recognizing we stand on the occupied indigenous territory of the Ohlone people, we commit ourselves to listen to Native leadership and stand in solidarity with people struggling against systems of oppression throughout the world, past and present.
Thank you. With that, I'm handing it over back to President Shiguro.
Okay, moving on to item 6.1. Are there any blue cards for topics that are not on the agenda? Okay, 6 speakers.
Okay, for not on the agenda, our first speaker is Jujar Singh.
Members and associates of the board. Good to see you again. My name is Jujar Singh. I'm the regional director of the CAD Health and Wellness Program. We are a statewide program under the umbrella of the California Department of Public Health. And we have had 10 student interns working on substance abuse prevention at the James Owen High School campus for the past 2 years.
Oh, sorry, sir. I should have said this up front. Each speaker will have.
Got it. I will not be taking that much time. As a continuing on, some of these students will be sharing their experiences and highlighting the direct effects of our efforts and our programs in our community. Most of these students are actually high school seniors who will be graduating next Saturday. So happy graduation to you. I would like to personally thank you for your collaboration in bringing opioid overdose response kits of one in Narcan on our campus. We have 3 separate areas on campus that have the Narcan certification area kits. Not only does it empower all of us to have our school board supporting this effort, but it also shows your responsiveness, it shows your care, and we'd like to thank you. That's why we're here today. We're here to thank you for caring. We're here to thank you for your action and look forward to collaborating in the future come next school year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next speaker is Raleen Dahia.
Hello, my name is Colleen, a senior at Logan, and this is my second year of participation. The Cara Health and Wellness Program is an inaugural state-funded non-profit high school wellness program centered on the prevention of rising substance abuse in minority populations post-lockdown. We have participated in regular project efforts concerning substance use education, peer advocacy, overdose response, intercommunal dialogue, community organizing, and government lobbying using an evidence-based model. We, along with our 70 other interns across the state, have received CPR and Narcan training to combat the developing drug abuse within the local community, including various smoking, drinking, and prescription medication malpractices. We would like to thank you guys for your cooperation with us this year, and we look forward to working together on future projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next speaker is Simran Kaur.
Hi, my name is Simran, and I'm also a senior at Logan. And over the past year, we have collaborated with local health clinics on solution-oriented discussions concerning professional drug use prevention and healthy lifestyle practices. We have also done many health awareness labeling campaigns and communal discussions on campus and at off-campus community gatherings. We have coordinated with the school district faculty and executed a school-wide assessment survey examining overdose preparation and faculty demand for health resources. Along with that, we have also presented community assessments and ongoing community efforts to push the members of the local school district board to provide better mental health resources, overdose response training, and incident preparation on campus. We would like to thank you for your cooperation with us here, and we look forward to working together in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Ox, let's see.
Hello, I just want to thank you for hearing our public comments. I'd like to share the importance of the opioid crisis with some facts. Over 500,000 Americans have died of opioid overdoses in the last 20 years. This crisis has existed for as long as I've been alive and longer. The opioid crisis is increasing in the United States, and California is starting to suffer from it as well. 70,000 overdoses occurred in 2021 alone. Our statewide campus feedback suggests that at least a dozen opioid overdoses have taken place within the school year alone, all over California. And we know of at least 3 California school children that have died of an overdose just this year. This is why our team has been working constantly for the last 2 years, and why California is taking such drastic change efforts to prevent this through our state funding. We thank you again for your open collaboration. I hope we can work together in the future to make our health a priority. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Darsh Preet.
I would like to highlight the importance of opioid crisis by pointing out the one that I heard here. Sorry. A middle school employee overdosed on fentanyl in Bakersfield after 13 years. 13 years all bought it from campus. We must work together so corruption and abuse doesn't lead to overdose. A high school freshman died in Hollywood from opioid overdose because her drug of choice was laced with fentanyl. This happened only a few months ago. If students are coming to places of education and their academic success depends on their well-being and health, we hope that this is a priority. We all share it in this room. Thank you.
Thank you.
And finally, Arlene Carr.
Hi, everyone. I'm currently, I'm also a senior at Logan this year. I wanted to talk about community relevancy. So there have been several notable events this school year that have shown how badly our communities are being affected by the opioid crisis, especially in the Bay Area. But again, we're thankful for taking those steps so that those events don't happen in our school. For example, 1 month ago, California Governor Gavin Newsom dispatched the National Guard and Highway Patrol to tackle drug trafficking and fentanyl overdoses right in our own city in San Francisco. Through our program, we have collaborated with San Francisco Center of Psychoanalysis to further expand our academic base to help combat that problem. And we have seen the streets of San Francisco littered with needles, drug victims. Even during our senior skip day, we walked around the streets of San Francisco just to see the problems that drugs have been bringing to our streets. And the last thing we want is that being our school. So the crisis is not only in the streets. Last month, the executive director of San Jose Police Union was actually arrested for trafficking drugs from foreign countries into cities across the nation. So who knows how many drug victims she has been responsible for, and knowing that we're here this year and many of our graduates are going to San Jose State, it's kind of scary. And we addressed this issue by holding a community town hall at San Jose State, where we discussed the drastic impact that these events have on our community. We actually also did different tables at Logan for National Tobacco Prevention Day, Red Ribbon Week, and Fentanyl Awareness Day. We have progressed this new program into academic, clinical, and community health efforts that hope to expand next year. And we just want to thank you again for your open collaboration, and we hope we can work together to improve further events.
Thank you. Okay. All right, thanks everybody for speaking. All right, moving on to 7.1, are there any blue cards for topics that are on the agenda?
We have one leader card, we wish to speak on item 12.1.
Okay, as a reminder, are there any please raise your hand. I'm sorry, you'll have up to 2 minutes this week. All right, this is Colleen Colon, PC.
Good evening, board. Nice to see you all again. I'm Connie Calderon, the Associate Student Body President of James Rowan High School. On behalf of the 2022 to 2023 Associate Student Body Executive Cabinet, we'd like to recognize our friend and our ASB Board Rep, Mahanor Khan. Congratulations on a successful term. Not only did you represent Logan and serve your classmates, but you brought to the district level and represented Logan and ASB. That is amazing. You have done great things, and you leave us no doubt that you will continue to succeed with all your future endeavors. Personally, I've had the pleasure of working with Mahanor for 3 years. We started off as commissioners who worked together day by day. Then she became a phenomenal athletic commissioner, amazed everybody, and then she did it by herself for the second year. While I was in ASB, Mahanor had given such an impact that inspired me to do better things for our community. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would be where I am today in my position. On top of that, now Mahanor and I get to work together side by side in ASB Executive Cabinet. Not only is she a good friend, not only is she a colleague, if you would say, but she's also the person who took my job that I once had. Mahanor is an amazing successor that I couldn't be more than proud of. ASB loves you and we want to congratulate you on everything that you've done and wish you the best of luck for your future. On top of that, we have our next year with ASB Board Director, Fatima Samin. Mahanor had that big impact that not only was she an athletic commissioner, now Fatima the athletic commissioner, who will then follow Mahanor to the ASB Board Rep spot for 2 times in a row. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 8.1, do we have anybody from CSEA who would like to report to the board?
Point of order, sorry, is we ask for speakers on Zoom?
Oh, thank you. Are there any speakers on Zoom? All right, seeing no speakers for CSEA, do we have, moving on to 8.2, do we have anybody from NHTA team that would like to provide a report?
Good evening, President Ishihara, Vice President Kumar, trustees, student trustees, Dr. Thompson, district staff, and folks in the gallery. Just want to mention a few things. One thing that I want to bring back up is the fact, one of the ideas that I presented the last time in my report was our ongoing efforts to help resolve some of the special ed conditions that we experienced this year. Like I mentioned, our elementary teachers have gone together, put together some conversation for a collaborative effort for the district to look at and consider for next year. So again, like I said, so the frustration doesn't continue, because obviously without the kind of resolution that we're looking for and our resource support, some of those special ed conditions can't be served as described by state and federal guidelines. Also, in addition to that, our group here has now joined with ALCOSTA, Special Ed Action Committee, a coalition. ALCOSTA, as you know, is the CTA region for both Alameda County and Costa County. So with that in mind, on that coalition, there's another 9 different locals involved in this special ed concerns, and it's obvious enough to see how much all of us have something in common. We now want to work together in collaboration to make sure we can kind of serve the need, which is a very important need, which very much needs to be solved so that students don't suffer and or don't get the services they're kind of slated for based on their IEP plan. We look forward to finalizing that proposal. Our group here in Haven met last week. We're sharing it with the site reps to have one more review, and we look forward to sharing with Dr. Thompson and the staff next week for consideration moving forward. Another note, I wanted to say more recently, as a result of site reps concern, as you know, it's traditional time for the end of school checkout, which always, and I can say, going through that thing 32 seasons, how tedious that could be, but it is needed. But there were some concerns from our site reps about how well this current checkout process has been updated for the current needs and things that have changed. And so, a result of that conversation with Dr. Thompson and district staff, Mr. Pizzani was able to kind of allow us to get involved in the conversation that he presented as actually matter of fact today, with the site principals going forward with their some checkout process to be given at the site. Mr. Pizzani and I were able to get together this afternoon, and I appreciate the fast response. And I think our insight with that document over the past couple of days has given a nice foundation for collaboration, how we can move forward to make sure things don't get stale and any kind of improvements or adjustments can be made moving forward. So I look forward to releasing the information that he posed to the site administration staff today and putting out to our folks, the teachers, for them to understand how the checkout process works and how with some of their comments has changed it up to be a more productive and enhanced process for an annual tradition of checking out a school for teachers. The last item I want to mention is, as you may be aware of, AB 1314, gender identification and parental notification is on the books. NHCA has taken a stance in opposition to that. And the reason for that, as you know, that idea of personal conversation and confidential privacy is very much needed for the students having that kind of consideration for their own lives. I can say as a counselor, as well as some teachers and others, that on personal conversation with students, how grateful they are to have that kind of place or a person to talk to with a sole knowing of confidentiality that they will not be put in a place where will kind of give them harm or experience hate or non-acceptance they've already experienced in other places of their life. Schools really have become a place for that kind of starting step for understanding with the advice and counseling from folks in the school district. This AB will certainly make a negative impact on that conversation. And so with that in mind, we hope that this trustee board will take a look at that and take the same kind of stance to support students in a very personal and confidential and again, impactful conversation as they move forward in their lives for a lifestyle they've deemed best for them, with no judgment other than support and understanding from us here in the school district. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 9.1, the presentation for the District African American Advisor.
So good evening, Board President Sahira, members of the board, trustees of the board, Superintendent Thompson, cabinet, the executive leadership team, and members of the public. My name is Lydia Edom. I am a parent in this school district. I've had 3 children in this district, 2 of them who have graduated. My last one is finishing up her freshman year. And I wear many hats at different school sites and throughout the district, but I stand here before you tonight as president of the District African American Advisory. Thank you. So the District African American Advisory, D3A, is a district level advisory group comprised of majority Black parents, staff, admin, and community members from each school and their respective school communities. The group was started in 2014 out of the office of then Superintendent Smith. And the group came together really to address rising issues with our Black students and staff, but primarily our students. And came together with the superintendent at that time to advise the district in planning, developing, implementing, and evaluating programs that support diversity, equity, and inclusion generally, and Black wellness and Black student achievement more specifically. In the 18-19 school year, in the spring of 2019, the board at that time signed or passed a memorandum of understanding with the District African American Advisory, making it a board level mandated group that is to report to the board on an annual basis. So we had our first annual report in 2019, and then we had a strike and we had a pandemic. And so we're here before you this evening to provide a follow-up update on what has happened in the past 3 years. And really, with a focus on this particular school year. So this year we had 9 meetings. We meet on the first Monday of every month. Everyone here and in the public is invited. We started in September, so we had 9 meetings. We had an average of 20 attendees. Our highest meeting probably had about 27, 30 attendees, representing an average of 9 schools. I think that we had at most 12 schools represented at a meeting. We had district leaders from coordinators, directors, and assistant superintendents to present on our district's equity work, CSACE data and updates, the LCAP, and Black History Month activities. Our cultural pride activities is a standing agenda item every month where we highlight our New Haven students and community leaders in the Bay Area and the nation at large to highlight and exemplify Black excellence. And most importantly for us, our meetings are a safe space for our community. Our parents of Black students bring concerns of safety and acts of racism against their students, giving district leaders an opportunity to support and respond. And conversely, school and district staff bring questions on how to handle racial issues to the D3A, providing robust discussion between parents and admins. And I want to recognize the executive leadership of the D3A because I don't do this work alone. Please all stand, please. Right. Thank you. So this year, and actually starting in 2014, one of the highlights of the D3A is that we've established what we call the Green Scholarship, which is administered by the New Haven Schools Foundation. This year, we've awarded 7 Black students with different scholarships under that umbrella. And since its inception in 2014, the Green Scholarship has awarded over $50,000 to Black students since 2014. I think most important to us this year is the new partnership that we've had with the new Office of Equity, Access, and Achievement under the leadership of Coordinator Setha Nobles. We aligned with her and her office on priorities, collaborate on implementation of D3A goals and district initiatives regarding Black students and staff. We were a part of the New Haven Day taking place last month. We had a great time. We interacted with our community. We talked to all parents, not just Black parents, but all parents who stopped by our table. And we were able to tell them about who we are and what we do and how we support the district. We have Kwanzaa celebration led by Setha this year. And the hallmark and really the jewel of our activities is our Black graduation celebration, which we have every year. These are pictures from celebration last year, class of 2022. We honor not only graduating Black seniors, but we also honor the 5th graders who are promoting, the 8th graders are promoting. So we truly recognize as a community the transition periods for our children in New Haven Unified School District. So as a result of all these meetings and these activities, we've seen increasing parent participation and school representation at the monthly meetings. This has been particularly important to me. The board that we bring in more and more parent voices, in particular, and across the K-12 spectrum. Our meeting topics have addressed a range of issues and concerns from both Black parents and staff, including incidents of racism and harm experienced by our students, Black wellness, and how do we promote and enhance Black wellness throughout our district. We have discussed the consultant work around equity in our district, including Promise 54 and Quetzal, who worked with the district last year. We continue to talk about parent outreach so that we can continue to increase parent participation and parent leadership amongst our community. And we talk about professional development for staff. And so these are things that we've tackled, yes, this year. I did bring in like the consultant work for Quetzal because I want to just emphasize
that this is work, these are discussions that we have had repeatedly over the years. And I think one of the outcomes of these discussions, our collaboration with the district is the Office of Equity, Access, and Achievement. We believe it is a huge step in the right direction to have this particular office address for us issues regarding not just our Black students and families, but also Black staff and admin. So as an advisory group, of course, we have recommendations and requests for next year of this school board. First, the Office of Equity, Access, and Achievement. We understand that it's funded for 3 years. We want to see it funded fully beyond those 3 years. Not just the coordinator position, but the entire team, including the 10 TOSAs, which we think are imperative to furthering the advancements of equity work and particularly promoting Black wellness and the participation of our Black parent community. We want to see the role of the coordinator elevated from coordinator to director. I'll put in a personal feel, I think it should be a chief level role. But we do think that in order for the role to continue to make headway and to hold all accountable in this district, we believe that the role needs to be elevated. One recommendation that I will insert here that's not on this slide is that we want to see the increase and the deliberate hiring of more Black certificated and classified staff. What we've heard from parents this year, some of these stories have been heartbreaking, but the highlight is that students who have experienced harm in our school, whether from students or adults, have been able to find a safe space with 1 or 2 Black staff on their campuses. And we think it's imperative that every campus has a Black adult who is a permanent stay at that campus. We've heard stories from children as young as 3rd grade who had solace at school because there was a staff member there that they went to every day because of racist acts committed against her. And so we think it's absolutely imperative, and we understand what the numbers look like at our sites, which is why we're making this a direct request and recommendation of the board to consider and look at our hiring practices across levels of staff and teachers for our school sites. We want the board to support these district initiatives. We understand and discuss areas of focus identified by Promise before to tackle bias and racism in our district. And we want to see the implementation of those areas of focus. We want to remain involved in those discussions and those conversations around the work that those consultants and the consultants before them have identified, quite frankly. It's a repeat identification, and so now we want to see implementation on the work that brings solutions to those areas. We want the district to support the expansion of the Social Justice Academy for the elementary and middle schools, which should be a direct pipeline into the Ethnic Studies Department at James Weldon High School. This is the toughest one. We need to eliminate the culture of hate in our district. We want to see an enforced culture that promotes wellness in both verbal and nonverbal communications. We think this starts with data. We want to see measures instituted to track incidents at the school site. And we're really talking about particularly the N-word and its weaponization against Black students. And quite frankly, the Black adult principals are also getting confronted with the N-word. Teachers are getting confronted with the N-word. We need to act on this. It is cultural. It is starting in the elementary schools, is breeding up into middle schools, and it's exploding at the high schools. And so we would like to see first collect the data on the use of the N-word as a weapon against Black people. We'd like to see this effort led by the Office of Equity, Access, and Achievement. It's something that we started discussing in our last two meetings. Our last one was this month and also in April. We want to see that there's traction behind the elimination of the use of the N-word. We think that this has to be enforced by a board policy, specifically against the weaponization of the N-word against Black people. So that concludes my presentation and my annual report. Tonight, I will take any questions or comments from the board.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Conley.
The lot that you gave, so I didn't want to go first, but I will. This is a lot to digest. But thank you so much for all the hard work you've done with this presentation and this report, which I do look forward to reading in detail. All of it is a lot. It just goes to show, I think that, you know, with collective action, we can make a lot of change, right? So it's nice to see how far we've come and to know that we have a lot further to go. And I really do appreciate this annual report. The first time since I've been on the board, we've had it, and you know, and we also had our first equity report card and all of those kinds of things. And I do want to say, just as on the teaching side, the use of the N-word, the prevalence of that has shocked me actually in schools. So I completely hear you. It happened in one of my classrooms the other day, and I was just appalled. I was just, oh goodness, why are we doing this? This is not okay. So I do look forward to our further collaborations and working together to talk about some of these requests we've had. And please, I'd love to connect with you soon. Please don't leave. I need to get your email or something so we can connect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Trustee Good.
I really want to say, like, thank you for calling out that derogatory use of the N-word against Black students, because I've witnessed it the year prior, and it was just like, I think it was only in like restroom areas and around there, and it was just a bunch of like N-word this, N-word that, and sometimes it would get even specific into certain students. And I really thank you for calling it out on like a district level instead of like students and staff saying we need to do something. You went directly to the board and said, this is a problem, please try to fix it. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, any trustee one.
Thank you for sharing all the wonderful work you do, and thank you for providing a safe space for our students and families. I think it's really, really important. I did read through your report and I enjoyed reading it. I went through the minutes. I did have a couple of questions for you out of curiosity. I read the African American Parents Pledge. I thought it was so powerful. I was curious who drafted that. Do you know?
I think Lily, so Lily Turner is our Parliament timekeeper, and she would have, did you draft it or, okay?
Wow.
Former president of the District African American Alliance.
Thank you for doing that. And then I saw one of the meetings, there was a request to reinstate $1 million mines. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Because what is that? And is it something we could consider reinstating or so?
Sure. Pre-COVID, we had groups, volunteers of Black men who would join or visit, I should say, visit the African American Life Skills class. And those men would come into the classroom, talk about careers or talk about whatever topic was at hand, depending on the curriculum. Then there's also a Women of Black Girls League. We did the same. I was a member of Black Girls League pre-COVID. So we're able to have volunteers in the classroom. We come in and we talk to the girls, we run activities with them. We talk about career paths, we talk about different things, try to get to know them. So we're looking for, as you know, we understand now that, you know, as kind of restrictions have relaxed around volunteerism and allowing parents and community members back into the school. that's one of the things we discussed was with those relaxations and restrictions, how do we form those groups and reinstate that, that work and that mentorship really is really to form a mentorship group for for the freshmen in particular for that class, but then how can we broaden it to follow them throughout their time flow.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for everything you did. Great presentation. Thank you for the work you're doing. Yeah, this N-word is this got me reflecting on my years here in Union City, going to man schools. It wasn't as prevalent, the N-word. And I want to ask my nieces and nephews, you know, is this going on in your school? Do you hear this? Are your friends, you know, using the N-word? So you know, I'm just thinking, you know, we're woke now, you know, and that's not true, you know, it's still bad. And I'm just curious about like data, like tracking, where's the Black community in Union City or South Haven? Where is our community? Are the numbers, are we decreasing? Are we, because when I went to school, we had a strong presence of African-American students, you know, a lot of friends, it was part of my community. So do you have information or data like that?
Yeah, so the Black population in Union City, South Hayward, I guess in the district boundaries is decreasing, generally speaking. Particularly in Union City, yes. So you will see decrease in enrollments amongst Black students if you look across our school sites. Yes. I also went to school here, so I agree that just generally speaking, that population has decreased. When you talk about collecting data, what we would like to see really is a discussion around how can you make it part of the referral system or the incidence referrals. So if part of tracking incidents when you're sending a student out, if you don't send a student out, we're not, and again, this is a broader discussion, but some ideas that have been discussed is that we at least want to know when teachers are hearing it. Part of the problem is that teachers don't want to touch that. So we're okay disciplining around like maybe the F word, but there's literally no pause, break, stop, or anything around the N word. And that is what is concerning for us. We believe that if if there's no visible discipline, that students just continue to behave, right? And so we know it's a wider discussion. And it's not anything that I'm suggesting students be sent out because of the N-word, but what we do want to understand is how can we start to collect data so that it strengthens our position that this word is contributing to a really systemic problem within our district that's really is proliferating hate. And it's something that is shocking if you hear some of the reports that come through our meetings at the elementary school level, and I think we've discussed largely that the problems that we see at Logan with the graffiti and the fights is because of unresolved issues and lack of discipline around these kind of incidents in elementary school and truly in the middle school. I was former chair of the school site council in middle school, and we heard this a lot. I was former equity council member at the middle school, and we hear this a lot. And there's like nothing can be done, and we just vehemently disagree with that stance. We think that something can be done. Just what should be done because nothing has been done. So we are asking the board to empower your staff, the superintendent, to empower his team to take action on this. It's very problematic. You guys have all seen what's going on at Logan with graffiti and everything else. And it's because we're not addressing it as early as elementary school.
Thanks so much. So it's very informational, and like the results that you shared, these are very it does show that with all your hard work Yeah, some really good results, like consider based on hard, experience by students, like, and they also promised it before, in the parent outreach, it's really nice that, you guys are trying to, curtail all this, racism and everything, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Choosing.
Okay, trustee.
I also just wanted to recognize your efforts, because being a Logan student, I can attest to all of the graffiti language that's used in our schools. And I was also reading through the report, it's kind of reading something. But yeah, I really wanted to just thank you for it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you and also Lily, because I know Lily's been doing it for years. I also appreciate you welcoming me to that event. I've learned a lot. One thing that I think would be helpful for me is, and maybe I missed it, in the documents, do you have like a much more specific and defined definition of what you mean by weaponization? Because, I hear the word way too much. I hear it between a lot of different types of people, right? So like when I hear the word weaponization, I need a little bit more definition in what specifically you're talking about. I think it's a word that should never be used. But I just want to know specifically when you say weaponization, what are the specific, what's the definition that you mean?
What we mean there is, it frankly used in a derogatory and condescending manner. It doesn't matter who's leveling the word. I tend to agree with you. I think it should be eliminated, period. But, we think that will over-identify on Black students. Right. And so we want to be clear, that it is when it's used as, weapon. And again, it can start off real cute until it's not anymore. And I think that's with any curse word, there are curse words that are used playfully and then they're not. So that's what we mean when they're using a derogatory word.
Thanks, appreciate it. Okay, any further comments or questions? Thank you so much for your time and the hard work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Move on to 9.2. Just a moment. Okay, 9.2, we'll have a presentation on the dual immersion program, the extension thing. So.
Good evening, members of the board, President Nishiyara, Superintendent Thompson and staff. My name is Lee Stevens. I'm the Director of K-12 Instruction, and tonight I'm here to present the board an update on our dual immersion expansion plans. So we started our efforts back in 2018 by launching a Spanish immersion program at Stills Elementary School in alliance with the California Global 2030 Initiative. And a couple of years later, during the pandemic, and actually during distance learning, we were able to launch Mandarin immersion at Value Management Elementary School. And as we look forward, our first cohort of Spanish immersion at Stills Elementary will be arriving at Cesar Chavez soon in 2024, followed by our Mandarin immersion program. So in anticipating the expansion of our program into secondary schools, we applied for a competitive grant and was awarded $380,000 in the span of 3 years to be utilized to look and plan for expansion. So the focus areas of the grant are around student and family recruitment, instructional materials and resources for our students, professional development, as well as curriculum development. So one of the first things that we did with the funds that we were allocated this year is to establish a dual immersion expansion committee. There are 21 members on this committee. It consists of families, and parents, teachers, students, as well as administrators. at all each grade level stands, you know, elementary, middle school, as well as high school represented on this committee. We've met a total of 4 times between the months of January through April. During that time, we were able to examine our current program and have discussions about what our T8 through 12 pathway will look like. We were also able to consult with the expert around dual emergent expansion, Dr. Chris Nichols, and which guided us to examine and visit multiple schools in Southern California that are distinguished and model secondary dual immersion schools. So we were fortunate enough to visit many school sites in the last 3 months. Part of the goal in the expansion is to keep primarily the 3 goals from dual immersion around biliteracy and bilingualism, promoting cultural awareness and appreciation, of course, high academic achievement as well. So that was the lens we were looking to and the goals as we think about expanding to the middle and high school. We created a vision for our students that you can see here. We obviously want everything for our students under this program. And we also identified 3 high impact, if you will, challenges in creating dual immersion programs in our field within California. One, of course, is teacher and staff recruitment, having the appropriate credential to provide rigorous instruction and support around the target language is essential. All our districts are competing for the same teachers. So that is an area of focus for us and a challenge for us. The second is our dual immersion target courses. So right now, we're looking at our 4th graders currently hold the same level of proficiency as our AP high school world studies students. So when we think about our students in 4th grade holding that same language proficiency as our AP students in high school, we have to anticipate the needs and the support that they require as they transition to middle and of course young level. So identifying the appropriate courses for the pathway to continue to strengthen their learning and promote Bible literacy is an area of focus. And of course, the 3rd one is a curriculum. Resources and tools in the target language that's going to allow our teaching staff to provide that rigorous instruction. So the work isn't done. This is our 1st year and looking at the expansion. We do have 2 more years of the grant funding. So we identify some next steps for us. One is to collect a survey of our cohort of families and our existing programs, what they would like to see offered to our students to continue in the pathway. It's one thing to enroll our students in the program, is another to keep our students in the program and creating that purpose for our families. And that could mean designing a competitive program at the middle and the high school level, examining our elective offerings and identifying the core content areas that we're going to continue to provide that target language in. And of course, that's also going to lead to some time for us to review appropriate curriculum for our middle school. And next year, we're going to spend some time at Senator Chavez providing staff professional development around the dual immersion pathway and creating input process around that. And of course, this is a continuous effort. We continue to recruit families into the program, educate families about the program, and support students in the program. So those are some of the outline scope that we have as focus areas for 2024 efforts. And with that, that's pretty much it for my update. And now I want to see if you have any questions or comments for me.
Any questions or comments from the board?
So I have to say, every time I see anything about the dual immersion program, I'm reminded about the kids who came here and sang in 2 languages, and it just makes me so happy. But I did have a question for you. So you said our first cohort is getting ready, and then you touched upon some of the challenges. What do you think is the biggest challenge specifically for our students as they get ready to move to middle school as part of the dual immersion program?
Yeah, one of the challenges that we saw highlighted across all dual immersion programs is access to different interest areas. In the dual immersion program, if they remain in the secondary level, it might eliminate some of the access to our elective programs and co-curricular programs. So that's a huge consideration that not only do we need to consider, that it impacts all the immersion programs across the state.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I just see, Melanie.
I just want to say thank you for your continued excellence in this program. I'm very impressed that our young students have the same proficiency as AP high school. In these languages, I wish this was available when I was a child, because I would have learned Spanish really easily. And now I'm trying to learn Mandarin, so I'm wondering if I can enroll in kindergarten.
It's called shadow.
From a shadow, so I can become proficient in Spanish and Mandarin at an AP high school level. That'd be great. But thank you so much, and thank you for sharing with us your biggest challenges. And I'm just wondering, is there anything you could foresee, given a magic wand, that would sort of solve our issues of hiring qualified teachers?
I think that we've made a lot of effort. I think advertising our program, the support that we provide for our teaching staff, support that we provide for our families. When multiple districts compete for the same pool of candidates, the candidates often want to look at the work condition and they're going to be in. And we have an amazing a cohort of teachers in both programs that are extremely dedicated, not only to our students, but to each other. And really advertising that, we've been fortunate enough to have teachers approach us and wanting to work in our district. So that's another item that I feel like we've been very fortunate, and I'm proud to share that we haven't had a hard time securing. When it becomes more single content area focus, that would be a little bit more challenging. Finding someone that has the language proficiency in a particular subject, that would be a little bit more challenging for us. I anticipate that, but so far we've been lucky that they've been approaching us.
Let's see what they. Let's see.
I just have a comment. It's really amazing, like how the dual immersion has started from elementary and now is moving on to middle school. It's really, and like when they're going to high school, it's really amazing for our children. Thank you so much for all the work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your excellence and the work you do expanding a grant. This is wonderful. My wife is a DLI teacher, so I know how amazing they are. And I also know how hard they are to find or replace. In our district in Hayward, there's always a vacancy. That's what we're looking for. So it's good that we're expanding. Now, if for example, I had some constituents approach me for, they want a dual program at Kitayama. How do they go about it? Is it do I suggest get a petition if there's an interest, a need that we'll try to fulfill, or at least it'll be on the radar, or anyways, what do you suggest?
I can call me. Just have them contact me. We could talk a little bit about what it takes to start a program, what is the interest from not only from that particular group, but from our community. So we will start with the interest in the conversation that we would welcome.
I also just wanted to thank you for your work. I would definitely wish when at home I could learn how to write kindergarten. I was also wondering that since like we're kind of looking into expanding the program into middle school and then also high school, I guess. Obviously there's like a lot of steps still to go about. Just wondering like how would the high school version look like? Like would it be just like a complete different set of classes for that? And then would they still be able to take like the different methods?
Yeah, we're anticipating 2 pathways for students in the traditional pathway now that they're taking a world language. They would continue that. And then we will look at a different pathway for students with a higher level proficiency, specialized courses. So there'll be two pathways where students are going to enter world language. And then for our existing cohort, we expand to strengthen their language. You know, we can look at medical transcribing courses and other courses that can level up their experience in the vocabulary.
I think it's amazing that there already know as much as AP.
Yes, I was excited for the parents to see as well.
Okay. Just a couple clarifications on slide we mentioned, the 23, 24 roadmap, you're talking about identifying 6 through 12, grade 6 through 12 course pathway. You're just talking about identifying the courses, right?
Correct.
When you decide when it actually rolls out, is your current idea that you're gonna do middle school first and then high school, or are you gonna do it all together?
Yes, and thank you for asking that question. To expand on how we're gonna identify the courses, is really which subject. Which subject are we gonna offer the target language in? Are we gonna offer it in science? Are we gonna offer it in math? What is that pathway? Can we offer it in math? And then we have students taking multiple pathways of math when we get to Logan. Is that sustainable? Is it gonna work for our cohort? Is it going to be a language arts course? That's the course pathway that we're gonna work on and then find.
So it's not about rolling them out together, it's about.
Right, we're gonna roll out 1 year at a time.
Yeah, one of the things that I think would be good to actually note as one of the positives behind this is because from an enrollment standpoint, we tend to lose people around middle school, right? So if you identify early on that there's a continuous pathway all the way through high school, I mean, maybe then it's something that Vice President Kumar and I mentioned sometime in our CNA meetings, is identifying continuity within the pathway. And so like, middle school is one of those magic milestones where we tend to lose students from time to time. And so this would be a really, kind of add that to kind of this package.
Right. Yeah, we agree. That's why the committee wants to start certifying our existing parents at 4th grade to assess what the interest of to maintain in our, not only in our district, but in those programs. So we want to collect that data early, so we have a couple of years to plan to address the needs.
Thank you so much. All right, seeing no further comments, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Moving on to 10.1, items in the board superintendent. Who would like to say? Okay, what's the
I want to start with, thank you to, the board members for accepting both me and, Laura, as student reps. And I also want to thank you again, because, it's not only my last year in school, it's gonna be my last meeting here. And I'm really gonna miss it. I might just go in next year, but probably not. I'm gonna let other students get this opportunity because it's such a great opportunity. And also there was this week and next week, which is final in our last week of school. There will be cabinet meeting, I believe it was today. There's going to be a hike tomorrow. I'm not sure if they changed it to an all-school hike or it's just for the seniors. So I don't know on that, it's really good, but there will also be a senior picnic, I believe it's Thursday. And stage walk rehearsals as well as speeches or songs or performances that students will want to show for their graduation. That would be going on this week and into next week. I don't think it'll be all next week, but it'll be going into next week. Also next week, like I said, was finals for sophomores and juniors with a sprinkle of 5th-year seniors that will have to come back, or they will get connected with adult school if they want it. And on that last day, which is Thursday, because there's no school on Friday, thankfully, there will be ice cream served to the students, just like the last 3 finals that we did. We all had some sort of meal or treat, basically, to say good job, you made it. And my last point, we're making good progress for the equity mural. Though it is kind of started late. started, but I don't know if we're gonna finish this year, we might have to finish early next year. So, but we don't wanna rush it, so I will talk to Ms. Reynoso about that. Because, yes, I will be there next year to finish it. And as of right now, it is just me and Ms. Reynoso doing it. And so it's like, went from like 5 people down to 2, so it's gonna take a little longer. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, trustee Khan.
I agree with, building off of the Trustee Goodman said. I also just wanted to thank each and every one of you for trusting me with this role and for the opportunity and for the support that you have shown me throughout my term. It's definitely a bittersweet moment as this is my last meeting. But I would like to introduce to you the James Logan Student Board member for the 2023 to 2024 school year, Fatima Sameen. She's in the audience, and she has proven to be an exceptional individual with deep passion and genuine desire to make a difference in our district and our school, and I'm sure that she's just going to do great next year. I also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge my parents who have always supported me with whatever crazy thing I choose to do or choose to dedicate myself to. And I also want to acknowledge my predecessor, Alani, whom you all know or have worked with, for his leadership and dedication to not only our district, but also that he has had a huge impact on me. As I took this role, he has always supported me and offered me guidance and just extended a helping hand whenever I needed it. And I hope to be just as good of a role model for my successor. So as I conclude my term, I leave with a sense of fulfillment and pride, and it has been an honor serving on this board with you all, and to see you all at the many upcoming events for Logan. We have the New Haven Foundation Scholarship event tomorrow at 2, the honor convocation on Thursday at 7 p.m. And there's also a lot of other events going on. And we have a bunch of senior activities for the last week of schools, and seniors are done with their finals this week. And then, of course, our graduation on May 27th. So thank you again for your support and for all the hard work that you have put into this district. I think being on this side of the board, I've come to appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Miller.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so I did really enjoy attending the Legal City Families at our 10-year anniversary celebration. It was so wonderful to see all the community members come together and celebrate such a gem that we have in our community. I mean, that's one of the things that really made me fond of with Union City is our Union City Family Center and all the programs that we provide to our community and how we work together and collaborate with so many different organizations, school district, city, with all these nonprofits. It really is a beautiful way that we all take care of each other, and makes me really, really happy and honored to be here, to live here, to be a part of this community, and to be part of serving this community. So it was just absolutely amazing. I also really had a great time at the Fuente banquet, and really celebrating all of our wonderful Fuente students who have worked so hard every year. I know that they have extra requirements to be part of the program, and so it was just really, really wonderful to see that and to see. I keep seeing this and I keep remarking on it, the generations of people who've come through New Haven Unified School District. The teacher that was a Fuente student before went off to school, came back to teach in the Fuente program. The parents and everybody that keeps coming here and keeps coming back, because we really are such a strong community together here in New Haven Unified School District, and people feel such a connection and a sense of family in our community. And it's just so obvious when you go to something like the Fuente banquet and the Union City Family Center celebration. So it was just so wonderful to be there and see that And I'm very much looking forward to attending the honors convocation on Thursday. I'm gonna try to make it to the Cheers for the Years program. It'll be right after I get off teaching the DPA celebration on Saturday. We'll definitely be there. And unfortunately, this year I will be missing convocation. It makes me so sad in this graduation, but my duties as a delegate to the Democratic Party will have me in Los Angeles. So I cannot attend, and I'm very, very sorry in advance. There's nothing like sitting on that stage and watching all of our senior graduates come down the field at Logan in their gowns ready to graduate. But the lucky thing is that CCHS will be on Monday and I will be able to attend that. So looking forward to all of those. Everybody stay strong, teachers, students. Not that many more days left. Get all your work turned in, and good luck on finals.
All right, trustee Rafe.
I'd like to, also, Union City Family, Centers event was amazing, and with all the trustees. And also I got to celebrate the award ceremony of Mission Valley ROP, where 2 of our local students were awarded scholarships, other than many others were recognized. And also the students of Logan were graduating and were continuing, and Trustee Goodman would love you to continue with us, and congratulations, Trustee Han. So, thank you. And welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, first off, thank the student trustees. I thank you for your service. I think for being here. Student trustee Goodman, you are always in the hot seat. Sometimes is it a yay or nay or here, or thank you for being the first one called on to make me remember what I'm supposed to say. And your contagious smile, your positive attitude. So I really appreciate it. Student trustee, thank you for being present all the time and being able to articulate yourself and representing for Logan. Enjoy your reports. But both of you, you got a friend for life. I'm trying to be here for life on this board. I got my son is a baby right now, and so I like to follow him all the way through school. And so if you need a letter of recommendation or anything, let me know. I can try to help out. Next, I also did go to the Puente graduation, and it's just a great program. My colleagues can't speak enough about it. They love the program very happily. And it is a test when you can bring your own kids into it. Like, this is a program I went to, and you want to put your own kids in there. Well, what I experienced there was so many class of 1995 parents were there, and their kids were graduating. And here I am with my 13-month-old. And one person, I told him I was away for 20 years, and he thought I was in jail, but he hasn't seen it since our graduation, but it was just great to be there, and just a great program. And then sometimes on presentations, like tonight with the I call it D-AAA presentation, but it's a D3A presentation, and just talking about Black Union City, and just reminiscing on what I experienced there. But if you'd like to reach out to me, please email me. I love talking about Union City and growing up here in the 80s and 90s. And I was just really caught with thinking about so if you didn't know our Black community, well, at least for me growing up in the middle of Union City was Almaden, area, and then we used to always have annual memorial for Jason Terrell. And so those were always fun, and so my grandparents lived in that community, and so, and there's also a gang that was, it was called BMW at the time, and, it was called because of Black, White, Mexican. That's what the gang was, and it was all people together, and that's what Union City is about, though, just, the diversity of, people just getting along with each other, and so that's why I was taken aback when you know, how the N-word is so commonly used here, because it wasn't like that back in the days, but you know, there was little thing here and there, but we all got along. We all got along today. All got along with each other. And then I see President Joanne was wearing an open hat. I'm assuming that is because OEA just settled their contract. They were on strike for a couple of days, 9 days, I believe. And that's settled. And so as someone who's been on strike twice, just knowing that once it's over, it is over. You know, I know it's the hardest thing to do, go on strike, and then when things start to settle down, you're ready to go back to work and you're happy and it's over. And it's a win for all students and the community there. So, and also my old UTLA settled their agreement. So they were on strike also. So I'll just go ahead and end it there because I'm talking too much. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. First off, I'd like to thank Trustee Goodman and Trustee Khan for their exceptional service. Thank you so much. It's been great having you this year, and it's a lot on top of your schoolwork and everything else that you do. So we really appreciate it and commend you for this. It's really great. This is our last board meeting while school is still in session, and I just wanted to thank the teachers, the staff members, the parents for a great school year. I think this was our first quote unquote normal year in a few years, so it would not have been possible without team effort. So thank you. Two, I just wanted to share, I was part of the city cleanup this past weekend. It was organized by the Union City Chamber of Commerce. And it was really cool to see how many NHUSD students showed up. And I'm not talking high school students who show up for community service hours. We had kindergartners, we had second graders, we had middle schoolers. It was amazing. And shout out to the parents for supporting something like this, where young kids are giving back to the community. It's really amazing. So thank you. And my last thing was our first video showing the wonderful work that our district has been doing with the Measure M funds was released yesterday. So I just wanted to thank Superintendent Thompson and his team, not only for putting those funds to good use, but also sharing that, taking the effort to make a video and sharing that with the community. I've been part of, bits and pieces of that. I was aware of all of that, but just seeing all of it come together was truly amazing, right? Quite often as a community, we give, we support things, but we don't see where the money goes. It was really, really nice to see that. So thank you. The video was amazing. I don't know who made it. It was really, really good. Thank you.
All right, it is a very, very busy time of year. I'll very quickly note some of the things that already been noted before, but I do want to thank the student board members for your dedication and commitment. It's not always easy, especially with your student, responsibilities to like go to school and things like that. To make it here on a weekday night, so I appreciate all of your commitment to that. I also was at the Union City Family Center 10-year anniversary. It was really nicely done. It was a really elegant affair, and I had a great time. The food was really good. The company was really good. The stories were really good. So thank you to the Union City Family Center for putting that on. I was at the Puente banquet on the same night as a choir event, so I had to kind of split my time between the two different things. My daughter was also in Puente, and my wife was one of the original Puente students back in the 1980s/90s. So Puente goes back a long way in my family. I didn't have access to it when I was growing up, so kind of going. I was at the Raza graduation yesterday. I'll be at the scholarship luncheon tomorrow. I plan on being there for Cheers for the Years. and honors convocation, just as an aside. The board will be there, before the event to meet with folks who live in the community. So if you want to, if anybody wants to, talk with any board members, we'll all be there, ready to talk. I'll be at the Logan graduation. As far as the Black graduation on Saturday, I'm going to do my best to be there. I may have to be out of town for an event, but I'll do my best to get there. As an aside, I wanted to thank staff for the outstanding food and nutrition service update last week, or last meeting. As a result, I had a conversation and I took a tour of the central kitchen. And I heard that Trustee Gonzalez did the same thing. I actually would recommend that each of the board members go over there, take some time and just get to learn a little bit more about the program. I think there's a lot of really good things happening there. And we should really kind of, tune into that. There's a lot of exciting things that could be down the road. And then lastly, I'll mention that I attended a webinar on the CSBA analysis of the May budget revision. My comments are too long, so I'm not going to go into that, but I'm sure that CBO Hellman is going to give you the rundown of the May revise. And that concludes my report.
Okay, well, a few things. I'd absolutely like everybody else to recognize our two great additions to our board this year, our student board members, and particularly with board member Khan, big improvement over the last. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Glenn. I'm kidding. It's forwards that we followed on and laid a great path, and both of you followed in those. So thank all of you, absolutely. This 2 weeks ago was certificated employee appreciation week. Last week, classified employee appreciation week. This week is week of the school administrator. So I'd like to thank all of our school administrators out there. The end of the year is a good time to recognize and see what they do, because they're charged with leading a lot of our the fun end of the year events. There's usually an administrator kind of shepherding those along. Those 3 weeks of celebration culminate with our first annual Cheers for the Year event this Thursday, where we'll recognize our retirees, our employees of the year, years of service milestones for all the employees who have been around for a while. And we're really looking forward to capping the celebration of our employees with that event. So that's looking forward to that. Our first celebration, we'll put that together. And getting back to students, while the school year is running now, we still have events happening. We have our athletics in particular, Logan, they're still going. Our girls softball team is running right now over on the field in the NCS playoffs. I think the boys play tomorrow. And then we have several athletes in our track and field group that are continuing forward in NCS. So good luck to all of you out there. And I think, boy, that's it. One more week after this one, and then summer is here. So enjoy the last couple of weeks of what's up with this week and next week, everybody. Thanks.
Okay. Moving on to 11.1, we have a readout for the finance, technology, and facilities.
Our next meeting is May 25th at 4:30 p.m.
Okay, thanks. All right. Oh, yes. Sorry.
I have a dentist one. I'm hoping to push that back an hour, 5:30. I know it's tentative there. I declined it on the calendars.
I think that's fine with me. But maybe we can run an email.
Yeah, let's work on that staff for scheduling. Okay. All right. Moving on to 11.2, the report for the Communication and Advocacy Committee.
So the last board meeting, we shared with the board and the community that we asked site admins to complete the resolution survey. Those results came in and we spent a considerable portion of the meeting discussing those results and just looking into what site admins think of resolutions and how it's working out. And then we talked about our enrollment campaign timeline for the 2024-25 school year. So the campaign will kick off during the 23-24 year. Next meeting, June 8th, 4 p.m. on Zoom.
Yep, and at the June 8th meeting, we're intending to hammer out a slate of resolutions for the 20. Okay. Great, moving on to 11.3, report out from the policy review committee.
Yeah, we have a meeting on the 31st.
All right, and other committee, moving on to 11.4, other committee reports. Yes, trustee Rebecca.
Very meeting is on the 18th. And, Commission also recognized and awarded, the students and, 2 of our students got the scholarship and a lot of them got, the award.
Okay. All right, any other committees that have reports? Okay. Moving on to 12.1, recognition of student member, Manor Khan. Who wanted to read that? Okay, trustee Rivet.
New Haven Unified School District Board of Education Resolution Number 0452223. Recognition of Student Board Member Mahnur Khan. Whereas Mahnur Khan has served as the James Logan High School student representative to the New Haven United School District Board of Education for the 2022-2023 school year, and whereas Mahnur Khan has contributed to the district, its schools and community, and truly distinguished herself in public service, and whereas Mahnur Khan has consistently represented the best interests of the students of the New Haven Unified School District, and whereas Mahnur Khan has exemplified the ideal of civic service in her steadfast representation of the youth in our community, and by her example, continued the tradition of professionalism in student governance, and whereas Mahnur Khan will soon complete her term as Student Board of Education representative to the New Haven Unified School District, and whereas Mahnur Khan has been accepted and will be attending University of California, Berkeley this fall, where she hopes to pursue a degree in computer science. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that the New Haven Unified School District Board of Education recognizes the importance of the participation of student representative Mahnur Khan, and be it further resolved that the New Haven Unified School District Board of Education commends Mahnur Khan for her service to the district and contributions to the Board of Education, and be it further resolved that the New Haven Board of Education wishes Mahnur Khan the best of luck and continued success in all future endeavors. Passed and adopted this 16th day of May 2023 by the following roll call vote.
Okay, may I have a motion in a second to adopt resolution 0452223 to recognize and thank James Logan High School student Lenore Khan for her work as representative to the Board of Education during the 22-23 school year.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Okay.
All right, so moving on to 12.2, who would like to read? I think, trustee Navri is going to read it, so.
Yeah. Okay, New Haven Unified School District Board of Education Resolution Number 046-2223. Recognition of Student Board Member Adriana Sunny Goodman. Whereas Sunny Goodman has served as a Conley Carolina High School student representative to the New Haven Unified School District Board of Education for the 2022-2023 school year. And whereas Sunny Goodman has contributed to the district's, its schools and community, and truly distinguished herself in public service. And whereas Sunny Goodman has consistently represented the best interests of the students of the New Haven Unified School District. And whereas Sunny Goodman has exemplified the ideal of civic service and her steadfast representation of the youth in our community, and by her example, continued the tradition of professionalism and student governance. And whereas Sunny Goodman will soon complete her term as the Student Board of Education representative to the New Haven Unified School District. Now therefore be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District Board of Education recognizes the importance of the participation of student representative Sunny Goodman, and be it further resolved that the New Haven Unified School District Board of Education commends Sunny Goodman for her service to the district and contributions to the Board of Education, and be it further resolved that the New Haven Board of Education wishes Sunny Goodman the best of luck and continued success in all future endeavors. Passed and adopted on the 16th day of May, 2023, by the following roll call vote.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 0462223 to recognize and thank Connie Caraballo, high school student Sunny Goodman, for her work as student representative to the Board of Education during the 22-23 school year.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? All right, motion carries. All right, so now why don't we all gather here in front of us? That's the thing. One, two, three. Four, and if possible, can I get one with each of your board members? One to step out first. So. And. There. One, two, three. All right, one. I'll stretch down. All right, moving on to 12.3. Can I have somebody to read? I think it's going to be Jesse Goodman who's going to read the resolution 0472223.
The New Haven Unified School District Board of Education Resolution number 047-2223 in support of Pride Month, June 2023. Whereas on June 27, 1969, the New York Police Department, the Police Department, raided the Stonewall Inn in a bar that was frequented by members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, and questioning, intersex, pansexual, two-spirit, and asexual LGBTQIP2SA community. And whereas Marsha P. Johnson, a Black transgender woman, was an instrumental leader in the Stonewall Inn uprising, and we honor her contribution to the LGBTQIA+ rights movement. And we must also honor the intersectionality of the LGBTQIA+ persons of color who still face heightened discrimination to this day. And whereas we acknowledge that Pride Month intersects with Black liberation celebration known as Juneteenth. And that it's important to remember that Pride started as a defense of Black queer people 104 years after Juneteenth. And whereas the Stonewall riots marked the beginning of a liberation movement that transformed the oppression of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer and questioning, intersex, pansexual, two-spirit, and asexual people into calls of pride and action. And whereas the resistance that led to the LGBTQIP2SA movement in America and Pride Month, where we commemorate the events of June 1969 and commit to achieving equal justice under the law for LGBTQIA plus Americans. And whereas all children and youth should be able to attend in a safe and inclusive environment free from discrimination, and civil rights laws contribute to such environments. And whereas the lack of awareness and understanding of issues facing LGBTQIA plus children and youth has contributed to higher rates of school dropout, academic failure, and school disengagement. And whereas education regarding LGBTQIA plus issues increases understanding and cultivates respect for the LGBTQIA plus children and youth. And whereas harassment and bullying policies that specifically mention sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression are associated with students feeling more safe, lower levels of bullying, decreased incidents of harassment related to sexual orientation, increased teacher, staff, interventions, and a greater reporting of incidents. And whereas the rainbow flag, also known as the LGBTQIA pride flag, plus pride flag, serves as a symbol of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer and questioning, intersex, pansexual, two-spirited, asexual pride in the LGBTQIA plus social movement. And whereas flying the rainbow flag throughout the month of June further symbolizes the district's celebration of diversity and support for the LGBTQIA plus community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District recognizes the month of June as LGBTQIA Pride Month to inspire equity, create alliances, celebrate diversity, and establish a safe environment in our schools and community. And that therefore, be it also resolved that the New Haven Unified School District shall raise the rainbow pride flag over each school site and district location during the month of June in honor and recognition of the LGBTQIP2SA Pride Month. Passed and adopted by the Governing Board of Education of the New Haven Unified School District, County of Alameda, the 16th day of May 2023 by the following vote.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 0472223 in support of Pride Month, June 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions, motion carries. Okay. All right, as a reminder, we removed 12.6 and 12.7 from the agenda. So for items 12.4, 12.5, 12.8, 12.9, and 12.10, I'd like a motion and a second to expel students 1 and 2, deny readmission to 2 and 5, and readmit students 6 and 7.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to 12.11. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agreement of 19/6 Architects for Educational Services Center upgrade and boardroom renovation project.
Second.
Discussion. Okay, roll call vote.
Aye. 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 Aye.
Aye. Voice vote. Okay, so motion carries. All right, 12.12. May I have a motion and a second to ratify agreement with Automox Incorporated for Automox agent services for 23-24, 24-25, and 25-26 school years.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions. Motion carries. 12.13, may I have a motion and a second to approve the software agreement with Tools for Schools Inc. Book Creator for 23-24.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions. Motion carries. Moving on to 12.14. We have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Charter Impact for CalPAS Consultant Services for 22-23 and 23-24 school years.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, say nay. Abstention. Motion carries. All right, moving on to consent agenda. Are there any items that any board member would like to pull for a separate vote? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items 13.1 through 13.39.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, say nay. Abstentions, motion carries. Okay, skipping 14, moving on to item 15.1, assessment of government procedures and protocols. Any comments?
I mean, I already pointed it out, but during public comment, it seemed that we forgot to recognize any speakers from Zoom, even though there weren't any. We would be very, very sad if someone was there to speak and like didn't get a chance.
Thanks for calling to attention. I really appreciate it.
Otherwise, we need it.
All right, thank you. Okay, anything else for 15.1? Moving over to 16.1, trustee requests. Do we have either status and or new items for staff? Okay,
I'm planning to bring some next time, but I need to flush them out first.
okay, gotcha. Anything else? All right. Being no further board requests and no further business, we are adjourned. Thank you.